Hey guys, welcome back to the Rambler Reno. This is the second video in this series. I have my 1971 Holiday Rambler behind me. My wife and I purchased this a little over a year and a half ago, and we're finally getting around to starting to work on this. So this started as just a simple project that we were just gonna clean it up, paint the inside, and roll with it. And it's looking like we are gonna take this thing all the way, gut it, repaint it, really make it nice. So we started demo, and today we're going to get into looking at the windows and the roof. So let's take a look and see what we got. All right, we are back in the camper. I'm ready to do a little more work on this thing. I've been tinkering a little bit with kind of the order of operations here. My original plan was to just gut out this whole camper, get down to the studs, see what I'm dealing with. But I've realized that that might not be the way to go. So as I've been looking at the windows, I know that water is 100% getting in the windows of this Rambler. And the reason I know that is because if you look under here, you can see water stains. Get the camera on here. You can see water stains in the wood here and here. And pretty much under every window where I can see what's going on underneath, there's water coming in. If you look up in the front window, I can see some of the plywood is rotted out. So I'm realizing that priority number one is to get the water to stop coming into this camper. And I've got to do two things to do that. One is the windows and one is the roof, which is going to be a big problem. But with the windows, the way these are set up is that the frames on the inside, this metal part that comes around here, is put in with these screws. And so you can see each of these screws holds on this inner frame, and it sandwiches the outer frame to the inner frame. And on the outside of these, we've got a tape. It's called butyl tape. I'd never heard of that before, but it goes behind the windows, and that's what keeps the water out. It stays flexible, and it's super sticky, super stretchy. It has most likely worn out on these. There might even be something called putty tape behind these that I've learned about as well that doesn't hold up as well and is not as sticky. So anyway, long story short, I pulled out a window, and what I realized is that in order to put new butyl tape on these, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to keep the interior walls so that we can re-sandwich this this butyl tape in and actually get a little bit of compression on it. So here's what I mean by that. This is the window that I took out, and see this black tape in here? That's butyl tape. I've completely removed this. I put new tape in here and I smushed it in actually twice now. I've been playing around with different widths of tape. This is a 3/8 inch, 1/4 inch thick butyl tape, which it turns out is way too thick. You can see this is sticking way out. If I look at another window here, you can see it's basically flush. So what we want to do is yank this out again, put some thinner butyl tape that I purchased in here, and we're going to give this another shot. But long story short, if I take the inside walls out, I'm not going to have the thickness I need to compress this window together and seal this tape. You know, me out here just like pushing on this is not really doing the trick. So we're going to put a pause on the demo on the inside, and we're going to start addressing these windows. And with that, the other issue we've got going on is the paint. This camper's been painted. You can kind of see here there are two colors of paint. There's like kind of an off-white color underneath, and then there's this newer kind of tan color on top. And that's because it was painted over. So I originally was hoping to sand. It's just really gummed up in a lot of places, and I think I'm going to go with stripping this all off instead. So the game plan now is to pull the windows, strip the area around the windows, put new butyl tape in, let it all seal. We're going to do that with every window, and then once they've been in for a couple weeks, we're going to pull the frames off again on the inside, and then we can take the walls out. They'll be nice and stuck to the outside by then. And then we'll be ready to demo the rest. But in the meantime, I have started another project, and I can already tell that I am going to regret it. So let's check out the roof up top, and I'll show you what we got going on there. Okay, so the part of the project that I've been absolutely dreading is the roof. You can kind of see why already. on the surface of it, this roof didn't look so bad. This was replaced, or I should say it was gone over with a rubber roof at some point. It has kind of this aluminum foil type material on the top and sticky rubber underneath, and it looked pretty decent, but I just kind of had a feeling it was letting water in through a couple different spots. It was raining and some water was coming in around the vents, but the way the vents are set up, it was kind of hard to tell what was going on. You can see back by the air conditioner too, there's a piece of white tape there. That looks like Eternabond tape. It doesn't match this roof. I think that was probably to patch a hole or something. This roof has a ton of patches, a ton of pieces. And what I decided was most likely the best course of action here was going to be to peel up the edges of it and replace this metal in the middle. It's got a lot of dips and bows. I don't know why yet. I haven't demoed the ceiling inside. So that's going to be next to see why this is bowing. It might just be because it's thin metal and people have walked on it too much. I'm not sure. So I started scraping and peeling this off camera because I kind of just wanted to see what I was up against, and there's a lot of profanity and a lot of frustration, but I'm finally making some progress and I'm finally figuring out what I have going on. As I peeled this back, I found at least 3 layers of roofing material underneath here. I'm trying to find a good piece here to show you. Here's one. There's like a sandwich here. There's a lighter colored layer on the bottom, so I can get this to focus. A lighter colored layer on the bottom, kind of a dark layer in the middle, a light layer, and then this rubber membrane on top. This particular piece I've already peeled the aluminum off of, but so a minimum of 4 layers on this roof. And as I've gotten into it, this has really started peeling off really easily, and I'll show you a couple spots in the back. There's actually water under the rubber. I have no idea how that's getting in there, but it is. What should have happened is they should have, instead of putting this rubber on, they should have scraped and cleaned all the coatings off these seams and put either a new sealant, like a Dicor type of sealant, or a tape like Eternabond. I've learned those are kind of the 2 big ones. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. I really have no idea. I've learned this from reading. But putting a nice like 4-inch wide tape and then taping all of the extrusions. But it's clear that this was done in a lot of pieces, and I'm hoping to lower the number of roof vents. We've got a TV antenna up here, so let me show you around, let me show you what we're dealing with, and we'll get to work on trying to get the rest of this off. All right, so this is the front corner, and I've peeled this back already. Sorry if it's a little windy out here, but you can see what this is. There's this piece of metal here in the middle, and then there's this piece which is the curved edge that comes around, and what covers them is this metal track. I wasn't really sure what I was going to find here. This is good news though. Essentially all it is a strip of aluminum that's held in with a bunch of metal self-tapping screws, and you can see that just goes down the whole way to the back of the trailer, and it will continue. It should go all the way around. You can actually see it under there. So I think all I have to do is unscrew all these screws, and this metal piece will come out. I don't believe it's riveted or anything in the middle, but we'll see. So as I get up here on the roof, you can kind of see a lot of these old coatings underneath here. I've literally just scraped a small amount here and then just peeled this back. It's thankfully a cooler day today, and so it's actually coming off pretty easily. On the hot days it's not so fun. So I'm gonna walk up here and kind of show you what we got. So you can see a ton of patches, a ton of caulk around that. I don't even know what this thing is. I'm really curious. I have a feeling it's just a wasp's nest right now, but this is the roof vent, which this is on backwards. This should be facing the back. Love that. Nice TV antenna, probably gonna get rid of that. And then as we come back here, tons of roof vents, tons of patches, just all over the place. There's another roof vent hiding under here. Didn't have a cap on it, so I threw some Gorilla Tape on to try to keep the water out. Roof vent there, another one of those weird things in the back, I don't know what it is. And there's just a lot of this kind of stuff. I don't know what the thinking was there. And then as we get to the back, we've got this little fin. I'm not totally sure what this does. I think this is probably supposed to improve aerodynamics, but it's a nice piece of aluminum. It's in decent shape, so we'll probably keep it. Now, in terms of what this should look like, before I started this project, I promised to myself that I would do my other trailer first. This is an enclosed trailer that I've owned for about 10 years. It was just starting to leak, and especially around that vent. So this has 4-inch Eternabond tape on all the seams, and then 2-inch around the vent and at the front and back as well. This one only had 1 layer of sealant. I took it off with a grinder and was able to just stick that tape on. So that turned out awesome, and it's holding water great. So that is what this should look like. So we're gonna get started ripping this up. It's a nice cool day. We'll see if we can get some progress done here today. My goal is to get this all up, and then once I see what I'm working with here, I'm gonna go inside, pull the roofing down, see what we got going on there, and start to remove some of these pieces so I can replace this. I'm gonna need some help getting this sheet of metal replaced. So I'm gonna either have to call in some favors with some friends, or just see what I can figure out. But I gotta pull the air conditioner, the antenna, all these vents, they all have to go. But I don't wanna pull them too soon, or we're gonna run into a situation where water's just pouring into this thing. I have no way to keep this covered while I do this, so the best I can do is just try to minimize how much I uncover. My hope is if I can get everything loosened up, get all the edges scraped, get the inside ripped out in one day, maybe with someone helping me, I can pull the air conditioner inside and out, get all the vents off, take this metal off, and put the new piece down. But we'll see what we're getting into here, and we'll see how long this takes. I found a local tractor trailer repair shop that can get me a piece of 040 steel to replace this. Sorry, 04, I think it's 040, but I don't know if it's steel or galvalume or aluminum. I'm not sure. They just call it roof coil, but I've used it before, and it's some really beefy stuff. So I got quoted about $400 for that. So we're gonna give that a shot, and I was hoping not to spend that, but I'd rather spend it and know that this thing is sealed, and I don't have to worry about it ruining any work we do on the inside. So without further ado, time to start scraping. I am officially tired of scraping and peeling. I have been working my way around this camper. I've got nearly every edge peeled back to the seam. The front is really stuck on there a lot more, so that's been a bit of a challenge. But I'm kind of over it for today. I've got maybe 3 hours into this today and a couple hours yesterday. So I am gonna bail on this for right now, and I'm gonna go inside the camper and start working on getting the AC taken apart, start working on taking the bottoms of the vents apart, and hopefully start ripping the ceiling down. I know there's insulation in there, but I want to see how bad the frame is here, and see if I'm going to need to replace anything there before I do this roof, or maybe even while the roof is off. The nice thing about this project is we can do it in pieces. It doesn't all have to happen overnight. It's already leaking. I'm not really worried about these being exposed, even if it does rain. So we'll see what happens. But I found some interesting things here, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of those things, and then we'll head inside and start working on the inside. All right, so I am over it on the roof right now. I just don't have it in me to keep going. So we're just gonna change gears. The great thing about this project is there's a million things to do. So I'm gonna get this AC cover pulled off so I don't damage that, see if there's anything else I need to get out of the way. And then I'm just gonna start taking this down. We've got some vents and other things up here. I'm gonna try to find out what those two weird covers were front and back. Might get that cabinet out in the very back there, and then we'll see what we got. You know, one of the cool things about this project is that I really don't know what I'm doing here. I know how to work in houses, but I've never worked in a camper before. So a lot of this is new for me, and I'm enjoying learning it and being challenged. I've learned a lot just Googling how things work, and whenever I have downtime, I'm just kind of trying to find answers about different parts of the camper that I really don't understand how they work. So I have sort of a sense of what things look like, but ultimately we just kind of have to dig into this and see what's in here. I don't think I'm going to be saving anything today other than this AC cover. I am hoping to be able to replace this and also the one on the roof with a new white one if it's available, but I think I can probably paint at least the inside portion if need be. So we're going to set that aside and get to work here. Thankfully, even with all the water damage and all the rot and all the poorly done roofing, this thing looks awesome. I mean, really the only wood that you see here are these nailers, and this is just like maybe a 1 inch by 1/2 inch strip. And this just allows you to be able to screw your paneling onto there. And then on every other one, they have installed these tracks, and so this is for your seam for your paneling. So it just sits on there, and then you can put like a cover over it. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that in the future, but this is gonna come down for now. The worst thing that I'm seeing is right around this vent. You can see for sure water's been getting in here. Not only are there some nasty black spots, but there's like, I mean, it is growing all over this wood. So this is the main reason why I wanted to pull this apart, was because I suspected that this was in here, and this is kind of what I thought. So I don't really want our family in here living around that. So I'm glad that I'm doing this. As I look around the outside edge, I'm not really seeing a ton of damage. That might be a little wet up there. Overall, that looks pretty good. If I come back to here where the hole in the roof is, it's actually not bad. There's a little bit of blocking in here to support that opening. That's really not bad. I mean, a little bit of mold, nothing crazy. This white stuff is left over from the roofing. So the new roof sheet will block that hole, and I won't even need any of this blocking. So that's all gonna go away. But really, I'm really happy about what I'm seeing here. I mean, this is great. There is this plywood here up on top. You can see a little water damage there. This, the only purpose of this is to try to create a bit of kind of an arch to the ceiling to shed water. And so I will plan on replacing that when the roof panel's off, just swap that off. And it looks like It looks like they actually nailed it. That's weird. They actually nailed it through the aluminum. I will probably just glue that down. But really, just amazed at how well built this camper is. You got these nice grommets up in these roof rafters, and they have them on both sides, even on the ones that don't have wiring. So that's going to make things a lot easier. And you know, the wiring is actually pretty good. I mean, this is like easily 12 gauge wiring. Unfortunately, that's all getting replaced. But all in all, really happy with what I'm finding here. And I think this is going to be pretty easy to replace this roof and put this back together. This is probably where I'm going to end this video for now. I'm going to keep plugging away, getting the rest of this roofing down, and just really get a feel for what this is going to look like. But ultimately, really happy with where we're headed. I'm just going to keep scraping, trying to get the roof cleaned up. And then hopefully soon we'll be able to get a new sheet of metal up there and get that replaced. So progress, finally progress. Really excited. All right, one more thing, and my shop's a total mess right now, so forgive me, but I got some more parts for this thing. I keep looking online nonstop. I found someone that was selling a spare wheel as well as a spare tire carrier. I have the bottom part of this already on our rear bumper, and I have the U-bolts to attach this, but I was missing this whole top part. This folds down so the back door can open up, and so that's going to make it possible to actually have an extra wheel. So I need to get another tire for that. The same person was also selling some new lug bolts, and the reason these are important is because this camper was made at a time when it was thought that if you had the same direction of turn on your lug nuts from one side to the other, they would loosen up. So this camper has, if I can get it here, a left and a right lug nut. And so the right ones you can find, the left ones you can't. So when I got the opportunity to get an extra set of these, it cost me about 45 bucks. I went for it just to have them in the camper as an extra. So we got those as well. So we're doing pretty well in parts. I need to get sheet metal for the roof. I need to get fender flares, and that's all I can think of right now. Roof vents, air conditioner, all that we're gonna do later. I just wanna get the roof sealed up, and we'll address that when we can. Thanks for following along on the 71 Holiday Rambler Reno. More videos to come.